Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's 9 p.m. on a Thursday. It's 9 p.m. Pacific, in case you wanted to know, because, you know, there are multiple 9 p.m.s. I'm Chris of the Northwest. There's only one of me. Good. Wits End didn't say anything. And we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're wondering, when does school start again? We'll be caching in the Northwest. Now, tonight, we are talking about the wonders of our neighbor, Idaho, with our very own Wits End. And as always, live audience, share your thoughts with us.
And our very own Chris of the Northwest as well. Yeah, wonders of Idaho. There are some great wonders over there, and I've seen a few. I have yet to see some. Hope to see more. It's a great place to go cache, to visit, and all that. But before we jump into all of that, we'd like to offer a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. Thanks to Land Sharks. They are one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. And as we mentioned, the coronation of King Charles trackable geocoin, well, it's now on sale at the Landshark store, along with the 2023 Lackey coin and the summer solstice coin, don't you know? You can check it all out at their retail store or at landsharks.ca. Also want to thank our other corporate Denali level sponsor, that's Gold Country Geotourism. You can visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the Geotour and the entire Gold Country region. Don't forget, download their app. It's an awesome app and it helps you out a lot. You can get there at exploregoldcountry.com or facebook.com/exploregoldcountry. If anybody else would want to know more about supporting the show, well, head over to the cachingnw.com website. And somewhere, I don't know, up, down, left, or right, there's a Patreon link. Click on it, and you'll find out everything you want to know.
Everything you wanted to know, and more. Like, what is a glow?
What is a glow?
Well, a glow is a geocaching log of the week. Thank you for asking, by the way. Whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Now, you can send an email or a recording right there from your smartphone. Some phones are smarter than others. To feedback@cachingnw.com. You can also call into 253-693-TFTC and show us just how you glow.
I think some smartphones are smarter than I am even.
It's true.
But, hey, you answered really quickly there. You could have hesitated a little bit.
I wasn't supposed to agree with that, was I?
All right. Well, hey, the glow, as we've mentioned many a time, was an idea brought to us by Doramore. And this glow here tonight was brought to us by Doramore. Sensing a theme?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think you should write all the glows from now on.
She wrote and offered a glow and said, I'd like to offer my June 27th log from GC8 Hotel Tango Zulu Whiskey. It's a cache called The Great Trail WPG Adventure Lab bonus cache. So let's see what she has to say. She says, about 10 years ago, I set a personal goal. I wanted to find at least one geocache on the Trans-Canada Trail in all 10 provinces. The West Coast, well, that was easy. That's where I live. The Maritimes were easy. That's where I'm from, and I visit there fairly often. Newfoundland was a special trip. I'd never been, and was happy to finally get there in 2016. Eastern Ontario and Quebec were added to an extended East Coast road trip in 2018. That just left the prairies. Well, wildfires put an end to one planned trip to Alberta 6 years ago. Life got in the way of the next one, as it does. Then COVID hit. This May, Marty TCM and I finally made it to Alberta, and we ducked into southwest Saskatchewan as well, just for a cache on a tiny sliver of the TCT in a town called East End. That just left the middle province. When Peppermint Patty 53 said she was thinking of going to Manitoba to get it on her caching map, I scoured the TCT website to see where the Great Trail went through the province. Well, what do you know? It runs right along the river in downtown Winnipeg. I invited myself along. We booked some cheap flights, figured out the Winnipeg Transit app, got accommodations near the river, and started looking at the caching map. And that's when I stumbled across this bonus cache for an adventure lab featuring the TCT. Sounds like a match made in heaven. We arrived Saturday evening and got one of the adventure lab stages right away. Mission accomplished. We puttered around on Sunday, finding more caches along the river near the forks. Monday, we went to Assiniboine Park and got a couple more there. I probably mangled that.
Cinnabon Park?
Yeah.
There's a Cinnabon Park there? Okay.
We met Blue Mountain Chick at an event Monday night, and she contacted me this morning with a very generous offer to take us caching with her for a few hours before dropping us off at the airport in the afternoon. I told her I had 2 last stops I had to make, the last stage of the Adventure Lab and this bonus cache. We had trouble finding the cache itself, but Blue Mountain Chick finally spotted the attachment and started looking around for where it might have fallen. Success. Oh. We signed in, replaced the cache, and I couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the day. What a perfect ending to a 10-year-long quest. Thank you for putting out this very special Adventure Lab and bonus cache. Now we need to set a new goal. I guess it's time to start looking at the Northern Territories. Cheers.
The ones that don't attach to the TCT?
Yeah, I think that would be the ones.
Yeah. Nice. That just, it's fabulous that she did it.
Yeah.
I think, I look at it and she put all this trip onto one cache and she almost didn't find it. And that would have been terrible.
Yeah, that would have been very frustrating indeed.
So, anyway, I know Dora Moore would have planned ahead and had a backup.
I'm sure.
But how nice for Blue Mountain Chick to decide, hey, why don't I take these people with me that I've never met before and go geocaching?
Time and time again, I hear great stories like that from the geocaching community.
Exactly. Now, caching community that's listening tonight.
Yes.
If you want to get in on the chat, and I know you do, use the hashtag Idaho. Now, we are without our chat lackey, so it's just us. So please use the hashtag Cache Idaho because we may not see it otherwise.
What you see is what you get tonight.
Idaho.
So what you see is what you get tonight. You can look behind the curtain, but there ain't nobody there. See?
I hope there's nobody there. Otherwise, it's part of another show. You can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up a topic in the after show, as some have already done. And you can use the twin hashtags podcast baking and podcast drinking to tell us what you're consuming this evening.
Usually it's something good.
I hope it is. I had some strawberry shortcake tonight. So that's never a bad thing.
Did you drink it or bake it?
Well, neither. I assembled.
Okay.
Some assembly required. Now, there was an email coming out from HQ in regards to Adventure Labs. They wrote, "Dear Adventure Lab creators, if you previously deleted an adventure, it is now visible as archived in the Adventure Lab builder. Find more detailed notes for archived adventures on the website." Oh, interesting. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I've never deleted one. Why would anybody delete one?
I couldn't delete one because I've never created one.
Oh, so wow. You may have a credit. Apparently you can't delete that either.
Okay.
And in an upcoming change to the Adventure Lab platform, we will reduce the maximum geofence to 500 meters for all adventure stages. I don't know what it was before. Was it unlimited?
I don't know.
Creators of Adventure Labs or adventures with geofences larger than 500 meters can submit a request to receive a new credit if they archive their adventure.
So
of course, you can learn more in the forums.
That's right. So like all the stages of an adventure have to be within 500 meters. Is that the way I understand that?
The geofence,
or is it that
meters for all reduce the maximum geofence to 500 meters for all stages. I take that as 500 meters per stage.
Okay, and we're without a chat like you, but I'm seeing people in the chat there. It was 100,000 meters. So
okay, or
100 kilometers according to GeoFreddy, which
there you
is
go.
Oddly enough the same as 100,000 meters.
Really?
Go figure.
But half as much. Well, no, I'm thinking 50,000. 500 meters is significantly smaller.
Yes, it is. Because we've done some adventures that we drove across, the extent of the county there before. 20 minutes driving just to get to stages. So that will significantly change. And the fact that they said they could submit a request to receive a new if they archive their adventure. Okay, so it's not like they're going to just eliminate adventures that are spread farther, that if you choose to archive it, you can get new credit. So that's interesting.
For those who are metrically challenged, like myself, 500 meters is 0.31 miles, so a third of a mile.
There you go.
So that will change many things, right?
Yes,
I mean, if you're in an area that doesn't have good cell reception, you could have set that geofence quite wide to allow you to answer the question when you could, get to this thing and then drive out to a I'm coming up with the words. Going out to cell signal and answering it. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not necessarily needed because they have changed it. Once that cell phone enters into that geofence, you can answer that stage at any time.
Okay.
So, Starcacher says this will remove most of the AL GeoArts.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were GeoArts for ALs. Wet Coaster says, we completed 2 ALs at Heathrow Airport last month. Probably can't do them from the hotel anymore. Yeah. I was thinking of the big geocaching events last summer, where there were there were a couple of adventures that you could do from wherever in the event. Right. Yeah. So I could sit at the podcast booth, answer the questions to the AL stages and get them from however far away it was.
Okay. The Tri-Cities had 4 adventure labs where the starting points were all right there at the event, but the stages were all throughout the cities. So
that should be fine, though.
Okay.
It's the geofence. The way I'm reading it is the geofence per stage. So you've got to be within a third of a mile of each stage in order to answer it. The stages, I think, can still be as far apart as you want them to be.
Okay, then I was misunderstanding it earlier. That makes more sense.
That's how I read it.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, you know what? Let's ask that question and get an answer.
I bet you could learn more in the forums.
Oh, yeah. I'm afraid to go to the forums.
And by the way, Sirius 98's got a pork tenderloin with strawberry balsamic vinaigrette glaze in the podcast baking world, and I'm getting hungry.
I'll be over there after the podcast. I don't know if he knows that yet. I hope he's listening.
Hope he made some extra. All right. Well, you can go ahead.
GSM times 2 has a document on how to do non-sequential ALs without a data connection, and we've talked to him about that. And yeah,
good tips there.
Really good information. So go look at the previous episode, and you can look at this bit.ly link right here.
All right.
There you go. Okay. What other emails came from HQ this week?
Well, geocaching also wants you to know about the 5 essential things, according to geocaching.com. You could make your 5 essential things in a different context and it'd be completely different. But as far as geocaching.com is concerned,
one of those 5.
For some people, it would be.
Okay.
But Geocacher.com says the 5 essential things are, well, the geocaching app to start with. Got to find the geocaches somewhere, so get the geocaching app. You need a writing utensil so that you can sign the log once you find the geocache. It's helpful to have water and snacks. That's number 3. Number 4 is comfortable shoes and clothing. And number 5 is items to trade. Because, you know, you're not supposed to take something unless you leave something.
That's right.
Just saying. Unless it's a travel bug, and that's different. So, yeah, get out there and, be comfortable, bring some snacks, have a good time, trade some items, find where the caches is with your app, and then sign that log sheet.
Where the caches is.
That's right.
Where the kid's at. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I know what you said, but I know what I heard. Hey, you and I got together this weekend, and I was able to finish the Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge in the nick of time.
Yeah, I vaguely remember
a little help from you.
Well, I did provide some vehicular transportation for a stage or two. And, yeah, it was good to see you in person. That was fun. You had your crayon. You were prepped and ready to do all the 20 rubbings that you needed to do and the Adventure Labs. And I turned it in for you. So
thank you.
You should be on the list. The deadline was 5 p.m. on the 5th of July. So if you have not completed the 2023 Tri-Cities Geocoin Challenge that we've talked about now for several weeks, sorry, but you're probably not going to get a coin unless you have made some prior arrangements with somebody. I don't know. But they were making another order, and that was the deadline. You can still come over and do some caching. There's some great caching in the Tri-Cities.
They're still there, and they're fabulous.
Yeah.
So. I have to say, it took longer than I thought. We came in, what did we get into the Tri-Cities? About 10 o'clock on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a song. It'd be 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah, regular crowd shuffles in.
And we hit them pretty hard and hot and heavy there for a minute because, it was hot.
Yeah.
Then we took a break for lunch and never regained that same speed.
Yeah.
So
the moral of the story there is don't stop for lunch.
Yeah, exactly. What did we get done by 5 or so?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
4:30, 5 o'clock. Yeah. And then I knew the Chamber of Commerce would be closed. So I asked a friend who happens to be in the area.
Yeah.
And on the podcast tonight, if he could turn in my sheet for me on Monday morning.
That was fun. Had a nice chat with Jen. Gave her your sheet. It was all good.
Thank you. Now, we're supposed to be talking about Idaho.
Idaho.
I love Idaho. When I think of Idaho, one of the first things that comes to mind is Craters of the Moon. And we're going to talk about that.
That's pretty cool.
But the second thing, nothing to do with, great inspirational things to see. But the second one is Evel Knievel.
Well, yeah.
I guess he was kind of inspiring because I still remember him.
There are people that were very inspired by Evel Knievel. Mm-hmm. When most people think of Evel Knievel, they think of these Caesar's fountains in Las Vegas and that horrific crash that gets played over and over and over again.
In slow motion. Yeah. When you just watch his, body bounce around like a jelly donut.
But the connection to Idaho and Evel Knievel, if you're of a certain age to remember it, I do. He attempted to jump over the Snake River Canyon near Twin Falls, Idaho. The jump was known as the, oddly enough, Snake River Canyon jump. Really,
he wasn't the most creative guy.
No. The Snake River does wind its way from Idaho through Washington, ends right here in the Tri-Cities. Speaking of that, where the Tri-Cities...
I didn't know it came into the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, it comes in over right by Sacagawea State Park over to the east.
Okay.
Joins the Columbia. So we're the land of the Tri-Cities and the land of the Tri-Rivers. But over there, it's in Idaho, Twin Falls. So this was September 8th, 1974. Anybody remember that? I remember that.
I remember watching it on TV.
He created designed a special rocket-powered motorcycle. So he didn't go to the craters of the moon with it, but he tried to jump the canyon. It was the Sky Cycle X2.
Ooh.
I don't know what happened to X1, but there it was. The canyon over there, it's a very deep gorge that the Snake River has carved in the terrain, and it says its rugged terrain made it an audacious and challenging location for such a daring stunt. He aimed to replicate the iconic daredevil feats that had brought him worldwide fame. Mm-hmm. Listen up, because it didn't go well.
I remember the huge ramp he built.
Yeah.
And
it was extremely steep.
Yes.
I mean, it was steeper than 45. Nearly vertical, as I recall.
And thus the rocket powered.
It seemed. Right. Yeah.
And this thing looked more like a missile than it did a motorcycle.
Right.
Despite the meticulous planning and engineering, the jump did not go as planned. The rocket-powered motorcycle prematurely deployed its parachute shortly after takeoff, causing Knievel to descend into the canyon rather than clearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, Knievel escaped with only minor injuries. Although the Snake River Canyon jump did not achieve its intended result, it still was a full 2-hour special on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it remains a significant moment in daredevil history. The audacity and ambition of Knievel's attempt captured the public's imagination and solidified his status as a legendary figure in the world of experience. Oh, man, I have trouble tonight. Extreme sports. So there you go.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet you could probably find almost all of that footage online, YouTube, and everything nowadays.
Dang parachute.
You probably don't have to spend all 2 hours of anticipation to watch the failed launch.
No, that was before, VCRs.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
there was a VCR.
Yeah, you had to watch it
before
live.
we had one.
Or you saw the film at 11.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, nice. Hey, let's talk about Idaho. Other than Evel Knievel, I'm sure there's a geocache near where he launched. Because why wouldn't there be?
Right.
But I thought if you're going to go to Idaho, you should make Boise your base.
Yeah.
And you can take several adventurous day trips from there. Now, my question to you and to you, live audience, is it Boise or is it Boise? How do you pronounce it?
Yes. I've always said Boise.
I've gone to the Z route myself, Boise. Yeah, that's how I heard it.
It's probably like bois or something French, but who knows? But
we got the Boise, and we got boys.
Boys ID.
There
there's all kinds of fun day trips. So where would you start if you were heading out of there?
Well, one of the closer ones that are only 2.5 hours away is the Sawtooth National Recreation Area. That is 750,000 acres of beautiful mountainous scenery. It has over 700 miles of trails, 40 peaks rising over 10,000 feet, and 300 plus high elevation alpine lakes that add spectacular scenery and vistas.
It's a pretty part of the country for sure.
Going there, of course, you can do outdoor activities like hiking, camping, backpacking, fishing, boating, canoeing, rafting, observing nature, photography, bicycling, and more.
It's
you can spend the day hiking and geocaching there in the Sawtooth Mountains, with particular spots like Redfish Lake and Stanley Lake. I wonder if that's related to anybody we know.
Oh, Stanley. Yeah, there are thousands of geocaches in that area, I'm sure. And we will list all of them right now. No, we won't. But there's some great ones out there. If you want to go just a little farther out, so a 3-hour drive, it's approximately 180 miles, you wind up at the City of Rocks National Reserve. I wasn't familiar with that, but the emigrants of the California Trail described the rocks there in vivid detail as a city of tall spires, steeple rocks, and the silent city. Today,
City.
this backcountry byway attracts rock climbers, campers, hikers, hunters, and those with the spirit of adventure. There's inspirational scenery, exceptional opportunities for geologic study, and remnants of the Old West just awaiting your discovery.
Ooh. Now I want to go.
Yeah.
You know, when I mentioned Idaho a few moments back.
Yes, you did. I remember.
Oh, thank you. Hold on. This is very interesting from CRS 98. My wife and I both grew up in Idaho, though in different parts of the state. She says Boise, and I say Boise.
That's interesting.
You know, maybe we can get some marital counseling to get this family together, but that's okay. I thought that was funny, though. They both grew up in Idaho, and they say it differently. So I don't feel so bad.
We can agree to disagree, right?
That's right. When I think of Idaho, I think of Craters of the Moon. It's Craters of the Moon National Monument and Preserve. That's the full name.
Yeah, it's a unique place for sure.
So picture yourself standing amidst a surreal landscape, surrounded by ancient volcanic formation and vast fields of hardened lava. Craters of the Moon offers an otherworldly experience that is sure to leave you in awe, like stepping onto the surface of another planet. You know, kind of like the moon. They give it away. It's right there in the title.
Or Vulcan.
But you don't have to leave Earth. Now, this Craters of the Moon covers about 600 square miles. That's 1,600 square kilometers. It consists of vast lava fields, cinder cones, spatter cones, lava tubes, and other volcanic features. The area is formed by a series of volcanic eruptions that occurred between 15,000 and 2,000 years ago. As you explore this unique volcanic wonderland, you'll encounter the towering cinder cones, lava flows, including the Great Rift, which stretches for more than 50 miles, 80 kilometers, across the preserve. Be sure to venture into the underground lava tubes. That's my favorite. You can descend into the darkness, guided only by your flashlight as you walk through these natural tunnels formed by molten lava. They were formed when the fast-flowing lava cooled and solidified, while the molten lava inside continued to flow and eventually drained out, leaving behind hollow tubes. Visitors can explore some of these lava tube caves, such as the popular Indian Tunnel, Dewdrop Cave, and the Boy Scout Cave.
Yeah, I drove across that area. Gosh, it's been 15 plus years ago now, and all I remember is that we had no cell coverage out there at all. It really did, and it is a very surreal landscape. It does really feel like you've left the planet and gone to the moon. Yeah,
it changes there almost in an instant.
Yeah,
you know, boom, you're in a different, I don't know, biosphere.
Sure.
Biodome. I don't know the word I'm looking for.
I don't recall ever being in a place that felt quite so otherworldly and so desolate. But then all of a sudden you'll discover that there's plants and animal life just abounding there when it seems like, I don't know how they could survive. There's, delicate wildflowers, sagebrush, all kinds of things that seem to thrive there. So you might find coyote. I don't know if it's coyotes or coyotes. This is like the Boise thing. Pronghorn antelope. And there are some fascinating bats that call the place home. One of the remarkable aspects, though, is its preservation as a national monument and preserved. It gained national attention in the early 20th century when it became a focus of preservation efforts by President Calvin Coolidge. He establishes a national monument in 1924. Wow, centennial coming up. To protect its unique geological features and showcase the volcanic history of the region. So you can hike there, you can drive there, you can do ranger-led programs. There's all kinds of stuff. And whether you're a seasoned geology enthusiast, like some people we might know, or just an adventurer at heart, it's truly a destination that will cause your sense of wonder to erupt. I know that. It says so right there in the show notes. Yeah, you can walk amidst the remnants of ancient volcanic eruptions and be humbled by the resilience of life in the face of adversity. Life always finds a way. I think I remember that.
Doesn't it, though?
Yeah. So check it out. Take a trip there. Prepare to be mesmerized and to feel a sense of connection to the Earth's fiery past and appreciate the importance of preserving extraordinary natural wonders for generations to come. I'm glad that they decided to preserve all that. Very cool.
GSM times 2 says geologic formation is the word I'm looking for.
It's actually 2 words, but...
Oh. GeoFreddy says hotspot volcanoes sounds awesome. There's sure to be many virtuals.
Good Wi-Fi reception.
Not so many regular caches there because, it's hot and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a national monument. I don't know if they're even allowed.
That's right. CRS98 says some of the lava fields are only 1,500 years old near Blackfoot. Hell's Half Acre, which we'll talk about in a bit, is where we used to eat breakfast with friends on Super Bowl Sunday.
Wow. Sounds like the perfect opportunity.
GSM times 2 says, I wonder if the lava flows in Hawaii are forming lava tunnels.
There are some lava tunnels on Hawaii. I don't know.
There are some, but we see the
flows or not.
We see the flows on the surface.
Yeah.
In Hawaii. So maybe not necessarily tunnels, maybe rivers or canyons. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're really up to exploring, maybe this isn't a day trip. Maybe this is somewhere where you go and then consider, coming back or changing your port of departure. But Coeur d'Alene is another great city in Idaho. From Boise, it's about 400 miles. That's 7 hours of driving. That's quite a trip.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll be able to explore caches along the waterfront. Go to Tubbs Hill. Yeah. Tubbs Hill is important. We'll talk about that in a bit.
I've cached there.
Oh, have you now?
Yeah.
And of course, they have some great parks.
Yeah.
One point of interest that I find interesting is, well, that's why I said it, is Silverwood Theme Park and Water Park.
Mm-hmm.
They have 8 coasters and dozens of other rides along with the water parks. The one coaster that I still have yet to ride there, or that I want to and I haven't ridden, is a steel roller coaster relocated from Knott's Berry Farm in 1990. The corkscrew first opened in 1975 in Knott's Berry Farm and achieved 2 things of historical significance. The corkscrew was not only the first modern inverting coaster in the world, it was also the first coaster to take riders upside down twice.
Yeah, I was living in Southern California at that time, and I remember the hype and all the television promotions about the corkscrew. And I rode it in the 1970s.
I've ridden
at Berry Farm.
At Knott's Berry Park.
Tame by modern coaster standards, but at the time it was quite revolutionary. So, all right.
J-Car says the corkscrew is fun and quick.
I was going to say that was the thing that I was most surprised about it at the time, or disappointed by, I guess, is that it's an extremely short ride.
Mm-hmm.
You get that typical traditional roller coaster clackety-clack climb, and you come screaming down the other side, do a double barrel roll, and come back to the station. Its claim to fame was that double corkscrew, but that's really all it had going for it. I guess the good part for the coaster owners is that you could crank a lot of guests through in an hour.
Yep.
So
the more rides, the more money, right?
Yep. So it's fun. It's short, but it's fun, especially because of the history of it. So
right. So Silverwood is kind of our local theme park, right? There's nothing else quite like it here in the Northwest. What's the one closest here? The
Enchanted Parks
isn't quite the same. They have 1 or 2 roller coasters, and it's mostly water slides.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've only been to Silverwood once when my children were little, but it was a lot of fun. Wouldn't mind going back someday. All right, well, continuing on through Idaho, we talked about, or maybe didn't, we talked about Snake River Canyon. Now we're talking about Hell's Canyon. The Snake River winds its way through Hell's Canyon, and you can take in scenic views and search for caches there, of course. It's a remarkable natural wonder located, it's right on the border of Idaho and Oregon. Yeah. It's North America's deepest river gorge. If you're looking for statistics and numbers and records and all, it reaches a depth of approximately I love it's approximately, and it gives it, down to the foot, 7,993 feet.
Isn't that approximately?
So
8,000
I would say
feet?
it's approximately 8,000 feet, or 2,400 meters, or 2.4 kilometers. The canyon was formed by a combination of geologic processes, including volcanic activity, erosion, and tectonic forces. I think
Nice.
don't they do jet boats tours through Hell's Canyon there?
I think
don't
they
know.
do.
Yeah.
You can stand on the edge of the colossal gorge surrounded by towering cliffs that seem to stretch endlessly into the sky. Hell's Canyon is located on the border of Idaho and Oregon. Not only is it the deepest river gorge in North America, it's also a place of breathtaking beauty and untamed wilderness. As you peer into the abyss, you'll witness the powerful forces of nature that carved this immense canyon over millions of years. The Snake River, with its relentless flow, has sculpted the rugged landscape. But it's not just about the sheer magnitude. It's a place of contrasts. From the roaring rapids that crash against the canyon walls, which I don't know if I want to go whitewater rafting down the Snake River in Hell's Canyon.
It's pretty extreme.
Yeah. But there's also stretches of calm water. So that adventure and tranquility coexist here. For thrill seekers, Hell Canyons offers whitewater rafting and kayaking. You can navigate through swirling rapids, feel the spray of the river on your face, and witness the raw power of the Snake River firsthand. For those seeking a quieter adventure, that may be me now. The canyon's hiking trails will lead you to breathtaking viewpoints that offer sweeping panoramas of the rugged terrain. As you hike along the rim, keep your eyes peeled for the diverse wildlife, from the majestic bighorn sheep to soaring eagles.
It's better than soaring sheep and bighorn.
Bighorn eagles, yeah. GSM times 2 is deeper than the Grand Canyon. Impressive.
It is an impressive canyon, yeah.
There are some things in Idaho that I didn't know the specs of, like Hell's Canyon, in that it's deeper. We're going to see another place here that's, bigger, has a bigger drop than another well-known attraction around the world.
I'll have to check that out. It's just a sleepy little state with a panhandle up here in the Northwest, but it's holding a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapping up Hell's Canyon here, it's not just a feast for the eyes. It is also steeped in cultural history. For centuries, Native American tribes like the Nez Perce and Shoshone Bannock have revered the sacred land. Later in the mid-19th century, settlers and miners arrived in the area in search of gold, silver, and other valuable minerals. Fast forward to the early 20th century, the construction of dams along the Snake River brought changes to Hell's Canyon. The completion of the Hell's Canyon Dam in 1967 created a reservoir and provided hydroelectric power. The dam and subsequent developments led to the flooding of some areas within the canyon. And in 1975, a significant portion of the canyon was designated as the Hell's Canyon National Recreation Area, and it's managed jointly by the U.S. Forest Service and the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management.
Nice.
So many fantastic monuments, recreational areas and national state parks. There's some great stuff to see in Idaho. And we haven't even talked about a lot of the caches yet.
Well, exactly. I am looking for Seebeck Tribe. Said.
Probably in Seebeck.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Tell us about some of your favorite caches. I'll go back and see if I can find Seebeck.
I was going to say, she talked about going to find the oldest cache with mountain bike.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, something we've done.
That's a good one.
Just in case you wanted to know, the Grand Canyon is 6,000 feet deep at its deepest point, according to GSM times 2. So this is nearly 2,000 feet deeper.
Okay. Seebeck Tribe got to go to Camel's Prairie Stash on July 2nd with mountain bike and 16 others.
Nice. We did that one a couple of years ago with mountain bike and quads in the mud.
Yep.
And we went in, was it May?
I don't remember exactly, but it was late spring, early summer, somewhere in that, about that time of year, yeah.
And there was still snow up there, so
it
be prepared.
Because it's at an altitude that it probably keeps snow for quite a while. So
yeah. And that one you can nearly drive to.
And many people have driven almost there, yeah. Exactly, yeah. You're not going to get there in your
Prius.
Rental Honda Accord, but...
well, if it's a rental, I can make it.
Maybe, but you may not make it back down. There are people up there in side-by-sides and ATVs and Jeeps and 4x4 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need something with four-wheel drive to get there.
16 people in them.
Just saying.
You might need that. The most favorited cache in Idaho is Southern Idaho's first. That is GC5C.
Okay.
Period. 5C.
Any geocache that has that short of a GC code,
yep,
it's been around a while.
Yep. 411 favorite points. And that's another one you can nearly drive to. Yeah, I think you can drive to within 100 feet of it.
All right. There's, Land Monkey's not here, so we can skip this Earth cache and move it. No, we'll talk about it anyway. There's the Shoshone Falls Earth cache. That's GC16 Yankee November Echo. It's hidden by Mr. Mayhem. It has 249 favorite points, so it's no slacker in the favorite points department. Shoshone Falls might have been what you're alluding to. It tumbles 212 feet to the canyon floor. That's more than 50 feet farther than the famous falls in New York, Ontario border. That Niagara Falls. That one.
That fall that shall not be named?
Yeah. It's a barrel of fun. The waterfall's terraced 1,000-foot span is truly one of Idaho's most magnificent sights. Now, if you go there, you're going to want to check it out in spring. That is the best season to visit because, especially in years of heavy precipitation, it swells with snowmelt, creating an awesome display at the waterfall. You get swirling mist, swooping birds, and rainbows rising from the sheets of water. There are overlooks there that'll give you just an incredible vantage point for sightseeing and photography. And then later in the year, much of the river's flow is diverted to produce hydroelectric power and irrigate Idaho's fertile farmlands because, famous potatoes.
Yeah, you got to have the potatoes.
Got to have the potatoes.
Where do you think McDonald's gets their fries from?
Yeah, so Shoshone Falls, the cliffs may be nearly dry if you go there in that time of year. But, even when the water's low, there's a ton of stuff to see up there. And there's an Earth cache with 249 favorite points. Go check it out.
Let's see. Next at 246 favorite points, that's just 3 behind, is G-Man's Groovy Hotel Cache. How can it be G-Man's when it's
hidden by bad leather?
Bad leather, yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Coming in at 228 favorite points, Sissy Banana hit a cache, GC51 Quebec Golf Mike, and it's that deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure playing to me. So I'm told this is one of those caches you've probably seen on YouTube. Maybe you've done caches like this with a pinball-style ejector. Pull that plunger back and launch the cache out of the tube.
Yep.
Could be a lot of fun.
There's one at the Totally Tubular series here in Seattle.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I'm glad you got that reference. I didn't get it.
You didn't get that one? Okay.
No. The deaf, dumb, and blind kid. No, I didn't get that.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
The next at 219 favorite points is the Gnome Home Travel Bug Hotel. And this is really cute. It's in a gnome village. So there are tree stumps that are decorated as gnome homes. There's all sorts of gnomes all around. It's just a lot of fun.
All right. And,
before we go farther.
Picking up travel bugs, you got a place to put them.
Yeah. CRS 98 said, I went to Camel Prairie. I stopped the car and got out the last quarter mile to the cache and had to sidestep the still steaming pile of bear excrement as soon as I got out of my car. Let me tell you, Idaho is a wild place.
It is.
You know, you need to be careful. So there are bears, there are coyotes or coyotes.
And bears do it in the woods, yes.
Or right there along a
on the
road,
trail, yeah.
near a cache. So,
and you know how you're chatting with somebody, you're texting them, or you're doing something, and you start to ask a question, say a statement or something, and responding to something 3 messages ago, and then something else pops in right there, and it makes it just all out of whack and context. So I'm reading these in order here, and it says that CRS-98, had to sidestep the steaming pile of bear excrement, and immediately following, Wino says, I've got one of those in Crane. I think he was referring to the pinball style themed cache. I hope he is, but just reading through the comments as they appeared, yeah. Sorry, Winos.
Well, maybe he does have one of those. He is a collector of oddities.
It's true. It's true. All right. Well, hey, what's that?
Wino says, where is it? Anyone keeping a list of the GC codes for these? I'm going to a wedding in Spudland in early August.
That's good.
Winos, you can email me, or you could just do a search in geocaching for Idaho and everything with more than 100 favorite points.
There you go. And you might find some other ones too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. We finished the Gnome Home Travel Bug Hotel, yes, and we're moving on to the Snake. This is another Earth cache, so, make sure you let Land Monkey know we did not avoid the Earth caches tonight. Mm-hmm. This one has 197 favorite points by Shooty. It's GC1C9XR, GC1 Charlie 9 X-Ray Romeo. And I don't know much about it, but it's an Earth cache, and that seems like homework to me, but it's a lot of fun for some people.
Snake River. It's on the Snake River.
Of course it is.
Mm-hmm. The next one is very cleverly put. It's TU-BE, so 2B or not 2B. And it also spells tube. Just saying.
Yes, tube.
Oh, yeah. That is GC, Golf, Kilo, Quebec Whiskey.
Very good.
In Idaho with 175.
175. Right behind that at 168 is Anne Frank.
She is. She's quite frank.
Yeah, but she's got 168 favorite points. I don't know if her diary is there or not, but you could sign the logbook, which is kind of like a cache's diary.
You can't on this one.
No?
This is a virtual.
It's a virtual. So you could pretend to sign it.
There's an Anne Frank memorial.
Anne Frank Memorial, there's GC9071. I kind of think it's fun when GC codes wind up all numeric. But check that one out. I'm sure that there's some great information there and sites to see about the memorial of Anne Frank.
And we come to Hell's Half Acre, right? Apparently that's a great place to eat breakfast. It's also an active volcano. And that is GC1B. Beta. What is Z?
GC13 Bravo Zulu 8.
Bravo Zulu. I've got it in my head wrong. Bravo Zulu 8. Thank you.
That's right in the middle of my username. So.
Oh yeah, there you go. It's got 141 favorite points. That one does. All
right. And if you're looking for a great address to go geocaching, why don't you jump over to 1000 Troll House Lane?
Oh.
Dragonfly's Secret hid that. It's GC4 Romeo 895. It's almost all numeric, but not quite there. 152 favorite points. So good stuff there. I wish I had more time to learn all about these, but we're running out of time. But great caching to go in Idaho.
Well, remember, if you go to Coeur d'Alene, you got to go to Tubbs Hill.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. Well, here's the reason why. It's Tubbs Hill's cache. That is GC5 Delta 3. That's it. 3 characters by our good old friend Mountain Bike at 135 favorite points.
He is a good guy. All right. Yeah. Tubbs Hill is right near the city there in Coeur d'Alene, and some great caching, hiking, and everything. Great scenes there. Now, we were talking about virtuals.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I don't know what it's all about, but it's called Freak Alley. More than just a virtual reward. Blue Canoe hit that one. 130 favorite points. Check that one out. GC7 Bravo 9 Golf 5.
Um, I just want to say, I don't think I'm going to go geocaching with CRS 98 in Idaho. Okay. He's the one that experienced the still steaming bear excrement. And he said for GC 27, also in Idaho, I had to dodge a moose twice and nearly got run over by an elk that were running away from something to me 3 times.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think maybe we'll just politely decline that invite to go caching with him. No, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, what's the chance it's going to happen again, right?
Yeah. Oh, all right. So
the next one we want to talk about is Bring and Brag,
Yeah.
Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh, I watched that movie years ago.
I was going to say, isn't that a book we all had to read in high school?
It is. It's a classic novel and a book. And I was looking at that, actually. The children's classic, Where the Red Fern Grows, was written during the period when the author lived here in Idaho Falls, Idaho. That's the connection to Idaho there. He lived there from 58 to 75. I don't believe anybody went geocaching between 1958 and 1975. We don't have a chat like you to check it for sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. But there is a statue has been placed there. So, yeah. I remember that book and the movie. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And the final one we want to talk about.
Well, we've talked about the location or the area before tonight, but there is 100. There have been 117 favored points awarded to GC 10 Foxtrot 0 Yankee for the Craters of the Moon National Monument geocache.
And of course,
stars.
That's an Earth cache.
Well, of course. Line Mickey was here. You go. Yeah.
One thing I looked up, I wanted to know why Idaho had so many volcanoes. Right? There seems to be a lot of volcanoes. It has a significant number of volcanoes due to its location within the larger geologic region known as the Pacific Rim of Fire.
Uh-huh.
I was shocked by that because I thought Idaho's too far inland to be part of the Ring of Fire, but I was wrong. The Ring of Fire is a 40,000 kilometer, that's 25,000 mile horseshoe-shaped area in the Pacific Ocean characterized by intense volcano and seismic activity. Now, Idaho is situated within the western region of the United States. You probably knew that. Where the North American plate meets the Pacific plate. So this tectonic intersection has led to the formation of the Rocky Mountains and the diverse volcanic lines. Land. Let me try this again. Okay. These are all words that I know about. It has led to the formation of the Rocky Mountains and the diverse volcanic landscape seen in Idaho.
Good job.
Now, Komakino, you don't read ahead. Okay. He read ahead. He said, look at Yellowstone. That's deep in there too. The primary volcanic activity in Idaho is associated with the Yellowstone hotspot, which is an area of an intense geothermal activity deep within the Earth mantle. So, with the North American plate that moved over it, it resulted in the creation of the volcanic features such as the Yellowstone caldera and the Snake River Plain.
Well, I was going to say, you talked about being the Ring of Fire, the southeast corner, I believe, or no, I guess it's not quite the corner there, but the northwest corner of Wyoming is where Yellowstone National Park is, and there are portions of the park that border into Idaho.
Mm-hmm. So, but Idaho has more active volcanoes than any other state.
You would think Hawaii would have
the easiest solution. GSM times 2 knows the podcast well. Just have Wits End Cold read it for you.
Yeah.
I should. I will in the future.
Might work out for you. We'll see. Yeah. Jury's still out on that. Yeah.
The hotspot migration of the Yellowstone hotspot is the main reason. 17 million years of very large eruptions, says CRS 98. White Coaster says, you're going to get in trouble with Land Monkey for talking geology without him. No, he's not here. He had a chance.
That's right. He's back at some mega event 4 time zones away. And I told him if he was 4 time zones ahead of us, he would have no schedule conflicts and should be able to join us live. And he didn't seem to see eye to eye. So just saying. We're here.
I scolded Komakino for reading ahead in the notes. And he says, sorry, I'll fix it. And then he says 3 letters, which I cannot repeat, nor will I put on screen. Geo Freddy says subduction caused, I guess.
Could be.
That's a very good word. I tried to do that in math class and it didn't get me anywhere.
No. Subducation. No.
Yeah.
Multiple addition. That's different.
So, Idaho, fantastic place, great natural wonder. Apparently a lot of wildlife you can see very close up
Or
if
find
you're with
evidence
Sierra
thereof.
98.
Yeah, or find evidence of. And that's almost everything we talked about is central to southern Idaho. We never even got up into, well, we did talk about the Camel Prairie Stash up there.
Camel Prairie. Coeur d'Alene is kind of in the panhandle.
Yeah, but one of my favorite portions of it is up there at Lake Pend Oreille and, all that stuff up there. It's just gorgeous. I really like that area.
I'm a big fan of Idaho. Hoping to go there this summer. I have a brother that left a southern coastal state, shall we say? Southwestern coastal state, and moved to Idaho. So
let me tell you about the car.
Yeah, no, not that one.
Oh, not that brother, different brother. Gotcha.
Let me tell you, how much does the car cost?
Yeah.
So, folks, thanks for taking the time to listen and learn maybe something new about Idaho. Go out there this summer, next summer. Start planning a trip. You've got some great places to go with things that are just going to blow your socks off. So wear sandals.
All right.
That's not how that goes, is it?
By the way, Starcacher is hoping the Yellowstone supervolcano doesn't erupt while he's there, while he's live. But then again, there's some part of me would want to see what it is. Okay. Well, hey, I got completely sidetracked there. But first, before we wrap up the show completely, I want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism. They're our corporate Denali level sponsors, even when I can't talk correctly.
Oh, it wasn't just me?
Landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online, and they ship online orders daily. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. I've rented lips tonight.
And we want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Landsharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, Cool Cow Cachers, and Cashly. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link somewhere on the geocaching.com a website.
Or the cachingandw.com website.
You know, if I do this for another 10 years, I might get it right.
Just saying.
Folks, I just want to prove that this is
live and unscripted.
Humans doing this. There's no AI involved because, otherwise they would get it right.
Well, tell us about the patrons.
Well, how about Skyhawker?
How about Greenwords?
And our newest patron, Mountain Bike, who happens to be from Idaho.
Yes.
Just saying.
Thanks for joining us, Mountain Bike. Thanks for some great caches. How about just finding our way?
How about Broncos fan for life?
Kev MacD.
Korsgat.
Katie Quest.
Ari, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I feel like a volcano should erupt after that.
Oh, there you go. Wino Seattle.
Flagman.
The Camp Clan, who say howdy from Haines, Alaska. That says Fatas, but it just seemed appropriate right there.
Doramore, founder of the Glow.
Yeah, thanks for the glow tonight. Subway Mark.
MC3 Cats.
B Pendragon.
Segehove.
J-Car.
Wet Coaster.
GeoNav Pro.
And Teus.
GSM ×2.
Just Carlo.
HackerDoc.
UDAC.
Alarobrick.
Geocaches.
Gas Station Tuna.
You talks to rocks.
Seabeck Tribe.
The encounter, the man to encounter wildlife, CRS 98.
Kid Vegas 19.
BC Rock Crawler.
RAR 285.
Limax.
Genies.
Trexer.
Boomer 365.
Team Noltex.
Peach of Washington.
M-Nerve.
LG 9000.
And Logwork.
All right. Thanks to all of them.
Yeah. And folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. If you like the show, please click the link on the patron link on the cachingnw.com website. If you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about. In either case, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast and give us a review. Now, if you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can always call into 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or send us Idaho potatoes any time of the day or night. And of course, you can send email at feedback@cachingnw.com. I worked hard on that one.
Good for you.
Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, I ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
The After Show. Let's see.
Well, so when we started at 9 p.m., CRS98 says, what happened to the internet? Asking for a friend.
I like that one. Comakino still has his Monte Cristo event set for this Saturday.
Oh,
Monte Cristo Meet and Greet number 4. That's Event Cache GC Alpha 9, November Juliet 7.
Yes.
If I focus, I can do those.
That's a great hike. We've done that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And I would love to do it again. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it fit this weekend. But have a great time if you're going up there.
Starcacher wants to know how many are still streaking for the latest promotion. I've decided to put my clothes on and stop streaking. He, however, is at 4 days.
So far.
Yeah, so far. Still waiting for the 2-day streak souvenir. I was one of those not getting the accidentally ape souvenir. Oh, I don't know if I knew about that.
I don't know. GSM times 2 is also at 4 days.
Seabeck Tribe got her 2-day souvenir finally after 4 days of caching. Got 3 more to get the 7-day one, but unsure if I'll go for the 28-day streak.
Yeah, that's quite the streak.
Comakino says, while Paul and I were getting the WSGA caches in Eastern Washington, we were wanting to join the event in Idaho to get the oldest cache, but Paul had the times wrong and we missed it.
Oh,
well, that's a real shame.
it happens.
Yep.
But glad you had fun caching in Idaho anyway, because there's some great stuff to be seen there.
There you go. Winos is at 3 days. UDAC is trying for the 7-day geocaching streak.
Good deal.
Starcacher said sending potatoes would be spectacular. Oh, let's see. There you go. Who got their first wheel of challenges? Souvenir, UDAC says. We've already talked about that. And Wino says, any feedback from the cache machine in Spokane Valley? Is there going to be a next one?
That would be fun. We've enjoyed recently the Yakima cache machine, and then I wasn't able to make the Spokane Valley cache machine, but I'm sure it was a good time had by all, I hope. I would love to see them happen again.
Do we need a Tri-City cache machine? Because, well, people are going over there to do the GeoCoin event.
There are plenty of caches to be had around.
Yes,
especially
there are.
When you expand the radius a bit to Hermiston, Oregon, and Prosser and Benton City and Sunnyside. You could spread the region out and get a lot of caches in. Some great power trails here if you're into those things too.
Boy, are there. Boy, howdy. Isn't that a thing people say?
I'm sure they do.
Mm-hmm.
You did. So.
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Okay. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. And until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.